everyone. Today we are lucky to have with us Dave Simon of Backblaze. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Roy. Happy to be here.
Great to have you. To begin, let's jump right in. Can you start by telling us a bit about Backblaze's origin story and the mission that drives your company today?
Absolutely. Um, Backblaze, the origin story of Backblaze, 18 years ago, Backblaze was launched as a computer backup solution, a consumer computer backup solution with this sort of novel idea to back up your entire computer to the cloud. Similar to what you would see with like Apple's Time Machine today. This was how we got started. This was how we got into the marketplace 18 years ago. And continue to have, over 500,000 customers on our platform today doing that. About 10 years ago, about a decade ago, Backblaze launched its B2 enterprise cloud storage, sort of with the same philosophy as the computer backup solution. B2 enterprise cloud storage is simple, affordable, very transparent pricing. And since then we have over 4 exabytes of data stored on our platform today. Kind of a crazy amount of data when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And then since then, we have scaled the business to reach every country in the world. We have customers in every country in the world, and we have 4 regions. 2 regions in the US, one in Toronto, and the other in Amsterdam.
As you know, there are many cloud and storage providers out there. What makes Backblaze different?
Right. So Backblaze, couple of things, right? Backblaze is very easy to work with. Starting as a consumer product many, many years ago, we've always been sort of customer first, right? And we've expanded that into the enterprise space over a decade ago, and sort of continue to carry forward that customer first mindset. We're affordable. Our enterprise cloud storage starts at $6 a terabyte per month. Your data is always kept in hot storage, and there's no egress. So, for a media workflow, a media company, that's really, really huge. Us as media people, we're digital pack rats, and we deal with massive amounts of data, um, you know, hundreds of terabytes a day, if we're out shooting, a sporting event or something like that. Be able to put that into Backblaze and have a, a strong understanding of how much it's going to cost you to keep your stuff there, and also a strong belief that you're going to be able to get your stuff back instantly. I think that's really huge for media, for in the media community, both in the large enterprise all the way down to sort of the small and medium businesses. With that, we recently launched Backblaze Overdrive. It's a high performance offering that gives you, you know, speeds of 100 gigabits and higher, basically anywhere up to a terabit of throughput. So we're really sort of, you know, uh, we're putting our money where our mouth is, and um, really focusing on media and entertainment as a key focus for the company, while also sort of maintaining our customer first attitude and philosophy, and just try to be easy to work with.
Yeah, well, Dave, I can back you up there. As we at CineSys, as an integrator, we love working with Backblaze. Our customers love Backblaze, and backing you up 100%. You're easy to work with, you're affordable, and our customers talk about those things. They also talk about the predictable pricing. Not
Yeah,
always the case with cloud providers. So,
yeah,
so huge. All right.
yeah. We try to say that we're about 1/5 the cost of the major hyperscalers,
Yeah, yeah, and we see that.
and sort of keep our pricing scaled that way, depending
Yeah,
on the level of service you get.
yeah, yeah. Excellent. All right, and Backblaze has a reputation now for being transparent, which you already touched on, and customer friendly, which you already touched on. But can you share some examples maybe of how you build trust with your users?
So back to sort of the open door policy that we have, right? Um, Backblaze is not just this sort of faceless sales-led organization. it was, it was started um, by engineers, and that culture continues to permeate today. Um, if you look on any of the forums out there, like you go onto the Backblaze subreddit, you'll see people, including our co-founders, responding and participating in message threads. Backblaze is very transparent, both in positive and when something comes up. We try to be very good citizens of our own community. Good neighbors within our own community. Our support network is widely accessible. As customers get deeper into sort of the Backblaze culture, you'll find that we're all available, we're all here. We can set up Slack channels if the need arises, right, with directly with the end user. And at the end of the day, everything is documented really well. We have some of the best documentation um, that really goes into detail around our different APIs, what we have to offer. We bring ourselves to you, and again, we just try to make it as easy as possible to work with us.
Yeah, well said, Dave. All right, now let's get into a little bit of specifics about products or a product. But
Yep.
for those who might not be familiar, can you explain what Backblaze B2 cloud storage is and how it helps businesses and creators?
Absolutely. So Backblaze B2 Cloud Storage is S3 compatible cloud object storage. Um, that's all it is. It's not overly complicated, and it is also we only have one tier, and that is a hot storage tier. So in other words, your data is always kept at the edge, ready to go. It isn't put into a cooler tier as it starts to age out. So if you uploaded something 8, 10, 12 years ago, and you go to download it for the first time, it's coming right at you, the moment you hit request, the moment you hit that download button. As I said earlier, we what we say, we have 3x free egress. And what that means is, depending on sort of the way you're signed up with Backblaze, you either get 100% free egress, or or you get 3x free egress. So in other words, if you're storing 100 terabytes in our platform, you can egress 300 terabytes per month. Now that's really great for like an active archive type of media workload, where you'll have Backblaze sitting behind your media asset management platform like Iconic or CatDB or Mimir or DeletFlex. And in a typical active archive workload, you might only download or restore 1 to 5% of the totality of your archive. And so with that 3x free egress, you'd have to restore your entire archive 3 times in a single month to even go over that. And then if you're working with us through one of our other sort of use cases, either as a origin storage for to be hooked up to a CDN, or application storage, that goes that you might want to hook up your AI training model to, that would be 100% free egress. Other features that we have on Backblaze include, one of them I think is really cool for media use cases, is something called Live Read. Live Read is the ability to read a growing file out of our cloud object storage, typically with an object storage workload or workflow. That object would have to be written and closed before you can actually start to be able to access it again. With Live Read, it's a multi-part upload where we add additional headers to the parts, and as soon as that first part is written, you can start reading it back in real time. So it's really great for like a media workflow where you're incorporating cloud storage into your media workflow. For instance, Telestream Vantage supports live reads. You can actually write growing files into Backblaze through Vantage and be able to start reading them out of our storage before they're
Hmm,
finished being written.
hmm,
Another feature that we sort of, I would say, these are more media specific, or not media specific, but media friendly features. We have a lot of other features. I'm mostly focusing on the media stuff today, though. Another one would be event notifications. Similar to like what you would see with like Amazon SQS or SNS. Event notifications, it's like a messaging bus that when you drop a new file onto, into your bucket, let's say you're uploading from the field, drop a new file into that bucket, you can send a message into, for instance, Iconic, and have Iconic immediately react to that file, start ingesting it. So it's not having to crawl the entire bucket. It's just getting alerts when, hey, something new is being dropped in, and a new object is here. Go work on this specific object. Object lock is another one. Very similar to just, it's our name for immutability. So once you put something in, you can't touch, you can't basically write once, read many. And then the last one is something called universal data migration. This is really another hidden expense when considering moving to cloud or switching cloud providers. With universal data migration, Backblaze will actually cover the cost of migrating all your data from wherever it is into Backblaze. The cost and the effort, right? And so if you're moving from, let's say, one of the major hyperscalers, 300 or 400 terabytes into Backblaze, we'll take care of not only the transfer of the data, but also any sort of egress associated with that. And that extends into LTO migrations, hard drives on shelves, for deals of a certain size, tape libraries, digitization. So our universal data migration program is in place to make it as easy as possible to get into Backblaze.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned, Dave, you mentioned single tier and active in Backblaze B2 Cloud. There are no tape drives, right? Yeah,
Only spinning disks. And
yeah,
if you're familiar with Backblaze, we on a quarterly basis publish our
right.
our hard drive disk report,
Yeah.
our drive stats. And I think we're over 300,000 spindles at this point. And in those drive stat reports, we talk about what brands of drives we use, the failure rate of those of those drives, the specifics around like the drive makes and models. If you're if you're a data analyst or a data analytics nerd like myself, this kind of stuff is just like so cool. So
Yeah,
again, that sort of goes with like the Backblaze, like the company philosophy, our commitment to being open and honest.
yeah,
And that hard drive report has been going for years.
yeah. And I again, I can say our customers love that. They love that transparency and being able to see
Yeah,
all of that data. So that's excellent.
yeah,
Right. Okay. And Dave, can you share a customer success story that really highlights the value Backblaze provides?
absolutely. Let's talk about one of CineSys' customers, Giants of Africa. Um, this is a very classic use of Backblaze, where we have Iconic as our media asset management platform. Iconic is a fantastic cloud-based MAM, with Backblaze sitting behind Iconic, providing what we call active archive. It's a really nice, a really nice match, right? Like chocolate and peanut butter, right? Amazing combination of flavors. Iconic and Backblaze, a very functional, technology combo that makes bringing your full res media assets to the cloud without breaking the bank. And also, what you're going to be paying for. You know what
Yeah.
you're getting charged. So I think that's one success story worth talking about. A couple more. Plex, the AVOD network, they moved over to Backblaze and saved around 70,000 per month in egress charges. Um,
Ooh.
and Plex has their data sitting on Backblaze. It goes through a CDN for origin. So if you're watching anything on your Plex, on the Plex network, not the Plex home server, but the Plex network, that's originating out of Backblaze. And then another one these are all, by the way, public on our website. If you search, Backblaze case studies, you can read about all these. Descartes' a large language model, AI training. They're doing a lot of model training. And with our recent announcement of Backblaze Overdrive, um, you know, we're able to provide the extreme throughput and performance that these sort of AI giants need for model training. Lots of sort of transactional, but also lots of throughput. And so we were able to do that, and we have a really nice success story around how Backblaze stood up and stayed up, where everybody else was sort of falling over in the process of testing and qualifying different platforms.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks. And I'll speak to those are all great examples. I'll speak to Giants of Africa certainly because of my familiarity, but you described it really well. But also, of course, the end result of their really great work is so important. It helps youth in Africa. So a really great cause there.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, and now a couple subjects you've touched on, certainly, but maybe to go into a little more detail or a slightly different angle. But cost and complexity are often barriers to cloud adoption. How does Backblaze make cloud storage simple and affordable?
Absolutely. Well, for one, yeah, the affordability factor, right? We tout ourselves as being a fifth the cost of the major hyperscalers, and I think that still stands today. Between the just the per terabyte cost and then the egress factor as well. The fact that we don't charge egress right out of the gate. Another factor here that we help make it easy. Two, one is the universal data migration program, either going cloud to cloud. We also have our on-prem appliance server. It's just a small desktop NAS called a Fireball, right? So we can ship you um, multiple Fireballs, and you can copy your data sitting on your local network into our Fireballs, ship them back to our data center, and we'll load them into your cloud storage account. And so, that is part of our UDM program. If you're already in existing cloud storage and you're looking to, improve your budget and maybe, get costs under control, again, our universal data migration program is there for that purpose to help migrate you over. And then I think this one is probably pretty important to people in the CineSys customers, people interested in looking at, or working with CineSys, is what we call our Backblaze Reserve program, where um, our resellers are able to actually provide Backblaze, um, upfront 3 5 year contract in with one lump sum. So if you're purchasing, if you're a buyer out there and you're wanting to purchase all your equipment as like a capital expense, Backblaze can be offered in sort of that one lump sum capex type of model where we sell it to you, um, or rather Synesys would provide it to you as a almost like you're buying a piece of equipment, right? So you pay for it all up front, and again, just try to make it as easy as possible to work with us.
Uh, yeah, fantastic. And now you've already talked about some innovations, but want to give you a chance to if there's any others you want to highlight, but any recent innovations or product updates that you are most excited about right now. And I certainly you spoke about Overdrive. I know we're
Yeah,
really interested in that as well. And
yeah.
yeah, really a great step forward.
Totally. My role at Backblaze is I lead our partnerships and alliances program um, for the Backblaze M&E practice, right? And my career has been in systems integration, solutions, kind of a very solutions oriented. Let's bring everybody together and put together put together an end-to-end solution. So Backblaze is just a part of that end-to-end solution, right? So in a media workflow type of or a media supply chain type of use case, you would have you could have anywhere from 2 to a dozen or more products sort of sewn together into an end-to-end workflow to make media production in the cloud or hybrid workflow possible. Sort of I've been tasked with at Backblaze is building partnerships with what I call like-minded technology providers, where you know instead of building up a walled garden, we try to knock those walls down and have you know sort of best of breed different providers provide all working together to sort of provide really sensible solutions for our customers, right? For our customers, for your customers, and one where at the end of the day the customer walks away feeling like they're getting a good value, and that the system that they have now settled on exceeds their expectations, from a performance and a price standpoint. Um, and one of the things, or one of the, I'd say, the areas that we're seeing a huge amount of growth in is monetization, right? So for years we've been building systems, putting systems together that is really there to search, recall, retrieve, utilize your stuff. But now with the sort of the advent of AI, and it's no longer just a sort of this idea. Now it's actually this real functional piece of the puzzle. Um, Now we can go back and we can look at what we have in our archives, and we can monetize it even more. We can find new opportunities to monetize it, with these multimodal AI platforms, like a vector search engine, where instead of having to search based on tags, you're just searching based on this idea or this, visual, like show me all the the plays from the mid 80s, right? And as long as the model is trained on, you know, what that what video from the 80s looked like, with the specific players, you can go back and you can find stuff that you can either find new revenue opportunities or monetization opportunities that weren't there before. And so that's sort of where my head's at these days, is focusing on, how can we continue to stay relevant in the space, but also looking out in front of us and seeing what's coming.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking that in technology, it's rare that everyone agrees on something, right? But there's
Yeah.
universal agreement that AI is going to keep getting better, right? That's obvious to everyone. So I can't wait to see where it goes. Yeah. All right. Here is an interesting question as we steamroll towards the finish. But where do you see Backblaze and the world of data storage heading in the next few years?
So I just see with Backblaze where we're headed in the next few years. I just see our business continuing to grow. We have new regions on the roadmap, in over in Europe and in sort of the Asia Pacific region, the APAC region. Um, we want to continue to grow. We're very methodical about our growth, not just running around, standing up small data centers or small pockets of service. um, we want to ensure that as we grow, we're being thoughtful and careful and be able to serve our customers in a meaningful way, right? We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So as our business grows, as our storage platform continues to grow, I think we'll see more of our high speed Backblaze Overdrive offerings popping up. Um, you know, Throughput is, especially with the rise of AI and just the explosive rise of AI, Overdrive is like a perfect fit for that, right?
Yeah.
Overdrive is a perfect fit for that stuff, but also, you know, from my personal background, I used to build out, end-to-end solutions. And one of them would be sort of real high performance media storage for, high throughput production. And with overdrive and non-overdrive, even our Backblaze B2 standard offering, which gives you up to 80 gigabits of throughput, Backblaze can be a really nice uh, extension of your on-prem storage as an offsite archive, but not as a, almost like part of your storage fabric, right? So it's not this sort of isolated separate thing over here. It's now just part of the fabric. Um, in terms of like what lays ahead, I see I see object storage as the storage for pretty much everything going forward. If you do need a mount point, like a classic sort of storage mount point, you can do that with a virtual file system driver, like a Fuse file extension, or if you look at like Suite Studios or LucidLink, those are good examples of like virtual file systems with object storage sitting behind them, right?
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
next, sitting next to that, where you have that mount point, might be your web application that really can read S3 storage natively. So I see more and more use cases for object storage because it's just the scalability of it. The performance at scale is unmatched compared to like what you might see with like an NTFS file system or
Yeah.
yeah,
So true. Yeah, I'm sure you'd agree with this, but in our discussions with customers, uh, we tell them that, as the world is evolving and AI is a big part of that, the most important thing you can do is keep your data, right? Keep
yep,
store your data, store your content, and then the next most important thing you could do is make it accessible, right? So you
yep,
can get at it and systems can operate, maybe AI systems, other things. Just so keep it and make it accessible seems very simple, but so much of our discussions with customers are around that, and you've spoken to it really well, and that you're a leader in your space, and positioned really well, but also executing really well for customers, and we see that all the time. So thank you for your partnership. we
thank
we
you.
love working with Backblaze. Our customers love it, and thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on.
Great to have you.
Feel
All
and
right.
feel free to, if anybody's out there, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Again, part of that open door policy. We're here. We we love being a part of this community.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, guys.